Hello everyone. Today's topic is for 8th grade history second chapter, that is trade to territory. The company establishes the power. Mughals represented India before company came to India. Here company is nothing but Britishers, the East India Company, who came from England, the Britishers. During that time, Mughal was powerful. Mughal represented India. Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler, as well as studied earlier in 7th standard. Now, after Aurangzeb, no king was powerful. After his death in 1707, many Mughal governors, subedars, and big zamindars began asserting their independence, and regional kingdoms were established. That is, they declared themselves independent. Who, after his death, whose Aurangzeb's death, subedars, governors, zamindars declared themselves independent. Therefore, the power of Delhi was declined. So, power of Delhi diminished. As a result, a new power was emerging over India, that is British. So, this is the trade route, how Britishers or company or England is here. From here, they traveled and came till here. So this is the trade route. This is the way how Britishers traveled, and this is a triangular trade that we will be learning in future also. Okay. Then East India Company. What happened? What is East India Company? It's a trading company. England Company of Trade. In 1600, this trading company acquired charter from Queen Elizabeth I. Now, what is charter? Charter is nothing but permission from Queen Elizabeth I. A charter is a permission for sole right to trade in India. This charter gave them a right to trade with East Asia, which excluded competition from other English trading companies. That is, other English trading companies from England only, nobody has to come to compete with this company, which East India Company, with mercantile objectives of making huge profit. So there will be a mercantile object for trading, that is to make huge profit. That is the objective of a mercantile. Okay, that is mercantile is a merchant's objective will be to make money. Okay, mercantile objectives are buying goods at cheap price and selling them at higher price. But competitions from other European power was still persisting. That is, they brought the charter only for English people. That is, no other English group or England group will come and trade in East Asia. But there were other competitors for them, other European competitors for them. Who are they? The other powers were Portuguese, French, and Dutch. Competition created problems, and the nature of competition exaggerated the problem. So what is the nature of competition now? Competition, obviously there will be problems. That is, when trade is there will be problems if there is more competition. But the particular nature of the competition exaggerated more problem. Okay, exaggerated the problem. The problem was all the companies were interested in buying the same thing, that is pepper, cloves, cardamom, cinnamon, silk, cotton, etc. Okay, so competition increased. As a result, demand increased, price of goods increased. So competition increased, everybody ran behind one product, so competition increased, demand increased, price of the goods also increased. As they had to pay more price to buy the goods, profit of the company decreased. So they were not finding any profit because there was competition, more competition, as all were running behind the same products. Now, these companies had to do something to get profit from these trade. So, they decided to eliminate the rival competitors. Eliminate means remove the rival competitors. They felt it was the only way through which trade companies could flourish. That is, to come back to the position or to gain profit, they had to eliminate or remove the rival competitors. This led to fierce battles between the trading companies. That is, between Dutch, Portuguese, French, English, all they started fighting or battle started. How the battle started? Ships were attacked, routes were blocked, trades were carried on with arms. Okay, means in the ship they used to carry all the arms when they transported the products to their country. The trading posts were protected through fortification. Now, fortification is nothing but the building forts. So, Britishers started fortification. In India. But this fortification created a conflict with local rulers. That is, with Nawabs and Rajas. That is, if anybody builds a house in your same compound or puts a tent in your compound, you will not like it. The same way it was here. So they didn't. The Indian Nawabs and Rajas did not like that. Thus, these traders found it difficult to separate trade from politics. That is, how will they now convince these Nawabs and Rajas to build fortification? So they had to enter politics. They had to do some politics. So they could not separate trade from politics. Who? The East India Company. Now, East India Company begins trade in Bengal. The first English factory was established in 1651 on the bank of river Hooghly. The word factory emerged from here. That is, the first place where they established was Hooghly. The word factory emerged from here. That is, the company traders who operated from were called as factors. Okay, the word factory emerges from here. From where? When they started this company. In the company traders who operated were called as factors. Thus, the traders were called factors and the place where they worked was called factory. Okay. As trade expanded, company persuaded merchants and traders to come and settle near the factory to increase the market and to earn profit. That is, they persuaded means they convinced them to come near the river Hooghly and settle down there, so that there will be market and profit, market to earn profit. In 1696, company began building forts and it acquired zamindar rights. That is, zamindari rights means what? The right to collect tax. See what all it did. It started building forts. Fortification started. Then acquired zamindari rights. They started taking zamindari rights. The right to collect tax over the villages like Kalikata, which later became Kolkata. Company persuaded Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a farman. So that is when the factory was established in Hooghly. That time India was represented by Mughals and Aurangzeb was still alive. So they convinced Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a farman. What is this farman? Farman is which was the order granting company to the right to trade duty free. Okay, one order was given by Queen Elizabeth so that they will come and trade here without any competition. Here this was a farman or order which was granted by Aurangzeb, granting company trade with no tax. That is duty free. Trade with duty free. Right to trade duty free means without paying any tax. They will do the trade. However, this farman was continuously misused by the company officials. So farman was issued, they always misused the misused the farman. Farman was granted only to the company, but not officials. But the officials were using concession for private trade, refused to pay taxes. That is, they started using it for personal trade. That is, if they want to buy something for their house, they started using it. What farman was being used for their personal trade also. If they want to buy something, silk or gold for their house, they started using this farman. What happened? This misuse of farman was leading to enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. Britishers had also started minting coins. The Nawab of Bengal, that is Murshid Quli Khan, was not happy with the act of the company. Thus, there was a protest. So, Aurangzeb became after his death. People started regional kingdoms, and the Nawab of Bengal was Murshid Quli Khan, and he was not happy with the company. How trade led to battle? Now, through the early 18th century, the conflict between the company and the Nawabs intensified. So, Nawab was unhappy, Murshid Quli Khan was unhappy, and the company and the Nawab's conflict, dispute, fight intensified, became very severe. How? After that is, as I told you, after the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawabs asserted their power and autonomy. That is, they declared themselves as independent. Here, Murshid Quli Khan became the Nawab. He was followed by Alivardi Khan. Then Sirajuddaula. So, after this Murshid Quli Khan, after him, Alivardi Khan became the king. After him, Sirajuddaula became the king. They were strong rulers. They refused to grant concession to the company and denied the right to mint coins, and also stopped it for fortification. So they said, we will not give any concession. You'll stop minting coins. You'll stop the fortification. Company, on the other hand, took a stand. Company also did not sit quiet. It started demanding duties to be removed and fortification to be given. It started demanding. This conflict led to confrontation and finally culminated in the famous Battle of Plassey. That is, they came face to face, and it turned to Battle of Plassey. Now, what is this Battle of Plassey? This battle is very important and significant. Okay. This battle was considered as a turning point of Indian history. It was after this battle that Britishers began to control Indian administration. Okay, so it was after this that India turned towards, you can say, slavery. Britishers started controlling us. After the death of Alivardi Khan, the Nawab of Bengal in 1756, Sirajuddaula became the Nawab of Bengal. So Sirajuddaula, after Alivardi Khan, Sirajuddaula became. English had started interfering in administration of India. He was the strong ruler. Who? Sirajuddaula. Company was worried with this, as they wanted a puppet ruler. So they didn't wanted a strong ruler. They wanted a puppet ruler who would only listen to their words, who would dance according to them. Due to the interference of company, Sirajuddaula was not happy with the company. He asked British company to stop meddling in political affairs. That is, stop interfering in political affairs, stop fortification, and pay revenue. Okay. Here it is a mistake. Pay revenue, they said. Then company came for negotiation with the king, but the negotiation failed. Nawab, who Sirajuddaula, marched with 30,000 soldiers to the British English factory at Qasim Bazar. Still now, everywhere in India, small places, they had already started their factory. So here Qasim Bazar was one of it, and captured the company officials, locked the warehouse, disarmed all the Englishmen, and blockaded English ships. This was the triggering factor for Battle of Plassey. That is, they got angry, and this was a triggering factor. Who got angry? Britishers. Then he marched towards Calcutta to establish control over the fort of the company. Who marched? Again, Sirajuddaulah. Now, because of Sirajuddaullah's attack, company officials sent troops under the command of Robert Clive, who was in South India. So here, when Sirajuddaulah attacked, Britishers who could not sit quiet now. They are not the people who will say that yeah, we lost and we will go back. They were not that kind of person. So they attacked. They decided to give a counter attack to Sirajuddaulah, and that was done under Robert Clive. Finally, in 1757, Robert Clive led the company's army against Sirajuddaulah at Plassey. Thus, there was a battle of Plassey. Now, what is this Plassey? Plassey came from the word palash, which means a kind of flower found in that area. Sirajuddaulah lost the battle. The main reason for the defeat was betrayal of Mir Jafar, the commander in the army of Sirajuddaulah. So the person who was his very trustworthy person, commander, he betrayed him. He cheated him. He was lured by Clive to make him the Nawab of Bengal after the defeat of Sirajuddaulah. That is, he was bribed, or he was promised to promise that he will be made as Nawab of Bengal after Sirajuddaullah's defeat. Here was the shift of power, Nawabs to British in India. That is, Sirajuddaulah lost the battle and Britishers took over the power of India, and Mir Jafar became the puppet ruler of Bengal. Next video will be on Battle of Buxar. Please like, share and subscribe.